We do have copies of the PowerPoint, I believe, in the back. In the back, Chris?
Yeah, the draft report.
This is the draft report, but in case anybody wants to follow along. Okay, to introduce myself, I'm John Indian. I'm a council member here in the city of Centro. And my colleague, Mr. Silva, who served on this task force committee, is running a little bit late. He had an appointment at work today and didn't be here. I will introduce my colleagues who will not be speaking tonight, but are here to find out. The Mayor, Mr. Brett Sullivan, and the Mayor Pro Tem, Cheryl Villegas-Walker. I want to thank you all for coming. The important part of what we do as elected officials is get public participation and public involvement. And so I'm going to lay out a little bit about what we did, what we started with, and then a little bit about the process we're going to follow this evening. In October, the City Council commissioned a task force to look at some governance issues for the City of Centro as we move forward and grow a city. And the four issues were the idea of a charter city and a general law city. We are currently a general law city, and the question is do we stay as a general law city or switch to a charter city? The second issue that we looked at was whether we should go to district-wide elections for city council members or leave it the way it is. The third issue that the council tasked us was to look at the idea of any benefit in changing from odd number years for council elections to even number years. And the fourth issue that was brought up was the discussion about what we do with our selection for the mayor. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through all four of the items first, and then we're going to allow questions. And the reason I want to do that is some of them are intermingled. They have some context that goes along one with the other. That's the reason number one. Reason number two I want to do it that way is so that we don't get bogged down on one of the issues, so that we have a chance to present all four of them, and then we're going to solicit questions. Now, do you have the blue slips? We have these blue slips that we're going to ask you to fill out if you want to speak. And the reason it's really important, first of all, we want to have your name because we're going to add it as part of any comments you make as part of the record that we submit to the full council. Number two, we want it so that I can gauge how long to give everybody to speak on any of the issues. And we're certainly would allow you to speak as long as we have time for, but I want to allow everybody the opportunity to speak. So if you plan on speaking, or if you go through part of the presentation, a thought or comment comes up, please fill out a blue slip there in the back there and bring it forward, and then we'll get an idea how many people are going to make public comments. Okay, I want to introduce the members of the committee. As you can see up here on the board, it was myself, Councilmember Silva, our city manager, Ruben Duran, Leticia Salcedo, who's our finance director, who I don't see in here this evening, Mr. Benavides, please stand up. Judy Tag, where are you? I saw you here somewhere. Oh, right here. Mike Horn, right? Rita Norton. I don't see Rita here this evening. Debbie Driscoll. Brad Jennings. And Diana Newton. And before I go on, I want to thank the members of the committee. This is as the task force was set up, what we did is so that we can get public engagement from members as we work through these issues. We had each of the council members pick some members of the committee so that we got a wide range, and I want to take an opportunity to thank the members of the committee. They put in a lot of hard work in this, asked a lot of good questions, and they got us to the point that we are here today. So I thank them. I was waiting for somebody to move the slide, but I guess that's me. Okay, the item number one that we were tasked to look at was, shall the city consider changing the structure of its governance from a general law city to one that operates under a voter-approved charter? Some of the pros that were discussed was more local control, the ability to stretch local revenues. One of the issues of a charter city is you're not required to pay prevailing wage on all on all expenditures that are used with local dollars. If it's federal dollars or state dollars, it doesn't apply because state law would supersede that. Modify or develop election rule dates and procedures, gives you more local control over that. Increase public role in governance. Increase standards of ethics and conflicts. Campaign finance and incompatibility of office. These are issues that you have more local control on. You can set your standards higher than the standards that are provided by the state and or federal government. As we went through a number of these issues, we had contact with a number of cities, either in writing or verbally, in a conference call set up concerning their change from a general law city to a charter city, and how it had worked in their city. There are a number of cities in Southern California that have recently gone to from a general law city to a charter city. Some of the neighboring cities in the Coachella Valley and many of the cities in San Diego County have gone from a general law to a charter city in the last few years.
John, what's bullet number 5 mean? Public role.
Increase public role governance.
Well, the concept with that is, as the local people who are running the city, who are elected by the people, they're involved on a day-to-day basis within the city. So they get an opportunity to have more interaction with the public. So when you give more local control to local officials, the expectations are that the public will have a better and closer interest into what's going on with their city because they have that direct connect. As we all see, the state of California is having its problems. Whatever side of the aisle you fall on, or whatever issues you believe in, the state is on the verge of bankruptcy. Certainly, we're not having much of an access locally to getting things done in Sacramento. I think you have an opportunity to have better control locally because you have much more of a connection with the people who serve you. Charter cons, these are some of the opportunities, some of the discussions that were brought up and we discussed with either, as I said, in writing with other jurisdictions or through conference calls, was more local control. Well, that can be a problem, and you'll notice that it was a pro and a con. That could be a very good thing to have more local control, as I just explained. It also could be a bad thing. If you have elected officials who are not following through with what they should be doing and aren't looking at the best interest of the public, that's an issue, certainly. Potential for corruption in contracting process. Part of a city charter allows you to do some design build, does not require you to follow the public bidding process. There is a potential when you give more local control that people can do things that are not appropriate or wouldn't pass the sale test. That's a concern. If a deeply divided council could lead to difficulty in city governments. Because you have more local control, if you have a constantly split council that is battling, a constant 3-2 council, it could cause difficulty because you would have potentially a majority of council members want to do something and then 2 years and ask that the charter be changed. 2 years later, you can have an election, have a change in the majority of the council, keeping in mind that now instead of a 3-2 one way, you have a 3-2 the other way, and all of a sudden you're going back to the public trying to change the charter again. These are potential issues of concern. Charter amendments could equal to difficulty in strategic planning. That kind of follows that same process. One of the things that we've become very effective over the last number of years is do both short, midterm, and long-term strategic planning. If you go to changing your charter constantly, it is going to have an effect on your ability to do midterm and long-term strategic planning. And then last is the potential for litigation. Whenever you pass local charter amendments or whatnot, you face potential scruple from the state, federal government, from organizations out there. So there has been, in some cases, an instigation of increased litigation.